Hey boys, welcome back to some more Bradman Cricket 17 discussions here. And this video, as the title suggests, I'm going to be going over things that we know of that have been changed, improved, additions from Bradman Cricket 14 to Bradman Cricket 17. Because, you know, I made a while ago about the graphics because I was getting a bit frustrated with all the people saying that the game looks worse than Bradman Cricket 14. You know, so I made that video, but I've also seen a few complaints saying that the game, there's no changes, no improvements, that is like just a patch from the last game. So I thought I'd make this video just to illustrate like a lot of the changes that we know of. And this is, like I said, I'll reiterate it, this is just the stuff that we know of. I'm sure there's a few things that they're saving and they'll, you know, give us more info later. I'm not talking about like different game modes or something, but just general things, general improvements and concerns that other people might have that they could fix as well. But this is just the stuff we know of, and there's a lot to go through. So first and foremost, let's go through the graphics. Well, I'll touch on this point first because I still see people talk about it. But first thing, the player models. The player models are so much better. Just go back and look at some Bradman Cricket 14 and look at the player models. You'll see like all the players look the same build. There aren't like just the realism of the body shape, their arms, all that. It looks a bit weird, right? It doesn't look that good, but compare it to what we've seen in the gameplay. Go on the academy, look at some players, and they look realistic. You know, a big fella will look like a big guy compared to last game where everybody looked the same. The player detail, once again, look in the academy. I'll probably pop up a couple of pictures just to illustrate this of some really amazing player likenesses. So obviously they had the ability to make plays in the last game, but the best players from the last game compared to the best players of this game so far is night and day. The players you'll see in the pictures that I'll show, they look perfect, dude. No other sports game has this level of detail in the customization. You look at FIFA and Madden, and the play creation is fucking god awful. But this game, it's incredible. You can make players exactly the same. Another thing, animation. I've seen a few people say that the animations look the same, they look worse. The main thing is, a lot of the animations are very similar, but the one thing is that wasn't a very good sentence, but the one thing to know is that they're a lot smoother. Like I've played a lot of the demo, and I played a lot of Cricket 14, just playing the demo version. The bowling and the batting feels so much smoother. You know, the fielding animations, I will admit that the wicketkeeper animations still need some work, but the rest of the animations, I feel people are a little silly in terms of that. I mean, look at the gameplay we've seen. You know, you'll see the batter like tap the pitch, he's doing a bit of gardening, you'll see him like do a few stretches and stuff like that. It just adds to the detail, and the animation quality is so much better. The stadium quality, this more refers to like the ability to make your own stadiums, because it adds that level of customization, and it does influence the look of the game, because when you're playing different grounds, you can have fucking 100, 1,000 different. There's so many teams, and you can have all the countries have all the different home grounds, so it's gonna look different every time. And the other thing in terms of graphics is the lighting. I don't know about you guys, but I've played the last game enough to know that the lighting in this game looks so much better. And the one thing I feel that they are saving up for us is nighttime cricket. They haven't shown any nighttime cricket, and I feel there's a bit of a ploy there, because I think it's going to look incredible. I think that nighttime cricket is going to blow people away just because the lighting is very good. And you look at Rugby League Live 3 lighting and nighttime games, it looks incredible. So I think the nighttime cricket is going to look great. The daytime cricket looks very good as well. But let's move on to gameplay. The main thing that matters. So The first one here I've just got like a list so I didn't forget things. But the first one is modifiers. Now, it might not seem like a big thing because I know, the modifiers, they more seem like a bit of a gimmicky thing. You put the pace up to max and you bowl like 200 k's an hour, and you do some silly things, but there's more depth to that because you can really fine tune the game you want to play. If the game's a bit too easy, you can make it so much more difficult. You have all these sliders to make it harder for batting, harder for bowling, and vice versa. If it's too hard, you can do the opposite. You can change the pitch, you can change the way the ball bounces. You can just fine tune all the aspects. So the difficulties are one thing, and then you've got a whole bunch of sliders to play around with to get the ideal gameplay that you want. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge addition to the game. The modifiers are great. The only thing with the modifiers that they have to, sort out and work on and balance is how much they affect certain things. So hopefully, every modifier does change something and it can be a noticeable change. So the next thing here is batting. So batting, even in the live stream that Twisty did with one of the developers, he said that batting was really good in the last game, and I totally agree. I even said leading up to this game that I think batting doesn't really need to be changed at all. Batting is like perfect, but they have tweaked batting. There's new shots. There's like a hook shot. There's the fucking helicopter shot. There's more precision with the shots. They changed the controls, so instead of having to press like multiple buttons to do a charge shot, you just press the right analog stick down and then you cue the charge up. It's so much simpler. It works great, and yeah, the batting is just simpler. It's more precise. So pretty much as good as batting was before, they've just made it better. So batting was one thing that they didn't really need to do much on, but they've still improved it a hell of a lot, in my opinion. I think they've improved it quite a lot, and that also reflects in the animations. I think the batting actually looks a lot better. The other thing, fielding. So fielding has been completely overhauled. They've got it. Fielding for me, I probably wouldn't do much fielding regardless, but I like the addition of the reflex catch where you have to move the analog stick into the circle to take catch. I think that's a cool way to get people into fielding or being a keeper. Just general gameplay fielding. You've got you've seen the bar that swings across and you've got to time it and to either get a good throw in or not. And the one thing I think people see, right, they see the gameplay that Twisty has posted, and a lot of it's pretty bad. And I think people look at that and think, oh, geez, the game doesn't look very good. But the thing you got to remember is that there's 2 human players playing, and they've never played the game before. And, they're playing it in front of a bunch of people just having fun. So they're not doing things right. They'll throw like silly relay throws. So that's another thing. They added relay throws, which is cool. So yeah, the fielding has been overhauled, and just wait until you get it to perfect it, and then you can judge if it works or not, because it's definitely a huge improvement from fielding before. And then we've got bowling. Spin bowling has been like completely overhauled. I love the spin bowling in this game, especially with the modifiers. I'm happy with the modifiers for spin bowling because I think I'll probably increase the spin because I like getting a lot of spin. But the spin bowling has been completely overhauled because the last game, honestly, I still don't understand how to spin the ball. I didn't understand how to do the spin bowling, how to like land it properly, I know how to like do the action and do all that, but it never worked. But in the demo I've played, it works well. It's still like they didn't simplify it to make it easy. Like they didn't simplify it to make it so anyone can get a perfect ball every time. It still takes skill, which they've kept through the game. They simplified things, but everything still takes skill and still takes practice to get good at, which is perfect. But it just makes more sense. It's once again, it's more precise, and it just works a hell of a lot better. And then pace bowling, they've also, they've changed pace bowling a fair bit as well, in terms of you know, the look of it. There's not too much pace bowling that they've really changed, but I feel like with the new look of it, instead of like the speedometer, I don't really know how to describe it. You know, the last game they had like the speedometer, you know, that little dial that went across and you had to get it inside the green. They made it like a lot, once again, more simple, easier to understand, and I feel like it's more precise again, because before the ball is bowled, you know, you choose. It feels like you'll be able to get like an off cutter rather than an in swinger, because I felt like in the last game I didn't know if I was bowling like an off cutter or an in swinger in certain situations. So yeah, the pace bowling has definitely been changed as well, but kept pretty much the same. And then the last one here I'll be talking about is game modes. So there's no, I'll say this straight off the bat, there's no like new game modes that they've announced, and I personally don't think there will be. But the career mode depth has been increased just a crazy amount. Just look at like Twisty's career mode video to get a full understanding. But you start off in club cricket, and they've already got like a bunch of club cricket places to choose from. So, you know, you'll be able to choose that, go through the ranks. There's better depth in terms of like form selection. So if you're actually playing good, you'll get picked. If you play bad, you'll get dropped, which was a bit of an issue in the last game. Also, the teams will change. So in the last game, again, the team stayed the same, right? Even if someone was playing badly for Australia, they'd still play in their spot. But in this game, if they're playing badly, then there's a good chance that they'll get dropped for another player. And also, just like the batting lineup, there'll be changes for that depending how you're playing, and depending who else will fit into the side. The career mode also, the stats, you can really customize your stats for a play style, right? Because every game you get skill points to update or upgrade a certain aspect. So if you're a batter, you can upgrade your front foot skill. You know, you can really focus on the drives. You can really focus on pull shots. If you're a bowler, you can really focus on a leg cutter. You can really focus on an in swinger. You really customize the player you want to be, which is awesome. And then also, for more depth in the career mode, I talked about this a bit before with the customize your own stadium, but every team you can select a certain amount of, you know, home ground. So Australia, there's going to be heaps of different home stadiums. So if you're playing a test series against South Africa per se, and there's five games, there'll be 5 different stadiums you play at. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that works, if it's just 5 random stadiums of the list of like 10 stadiums that are for Australia, or if you select what stadiums you want to play at for that test series. I'm not too sure about that, but every game is going to be at a different ground, and you know, it's going to add more to the game and more variety. And you know, with the career mode as well, you've also got, you know, every other comp is going on along with it. Another big addition I almost forgot was the women's cricket. They added a whole other side with the women's cricket, which by the looks of it plays how you would expect. You know, they're slower bowling, the batting isn't as big, but it's a more slow pace game, which is awesome. You know, probably I won't play it too much, but it's a great addition. It shows the recognition for women in the sport, which is good, and it's just another thing that they added. You know, in terms of like other game modes, you know, I haven't heard too much about online or single player, you know, just casual matches, whatever. But you know, this is going over. That pretty much wraps the video up. I don't think I forgot anything else. I might have forgot a few little things here and there, but this is the main crux of it. Like I said, I feel like there might be a few other things that have yet to be announced or something like that. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be like a, you know, a big game mode that they're going to add, but you know, just little things. So hopefully you guys that maybe are thinking that this game is just a little patch or an update from the last game, you know, just take all this on board. I'm not trying to like talk shit about people that think that, but at the same time, they've been working on this game for a long time. Just remember how good Don Bradman Cricket 14 was, and this game is just going to be better. So, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got you know, maybe you learned a couple of things out of it that you didn't know were in the game. And yeah, hopefully you guys are excited for the game. It is it's not too far away now. I'm very hyped for it. This video is kind of long enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.